Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Long Dark, your daily broadcast about whatever Mackenzie is doing in the Forsaken Airfield at the moment. Part of my longest ever run in this game. I think I'm over 400 days and rapidly approaching 500, which will be nice. And the reason I'm running this early, because those of you who are regulars will know I normally stream from 9 to 11 Greenwich Mean Time, is that I'm working on a project with my son, which will now basically be taking place when I would normally be live streaming. This is going to last, hopefully, no more than a week or two, maybe. We'll see. So rather than just give up on doing a morning live stream, I thought, well, okay, let's do it much earlier, because I am typically awake quite early in the morning. I'm normally awake at 3 a.m. So I felt like starting now, and I thought, well, we'll see how it goes and take it from there. And let me know how it works for you. The interaction will be missing for some of you, but the content won't. So where were we? We were in a hut at the northwest end of the Forsaken Airfield, and I shot a deer. Sorry, not a deer. Well, I did shoot a deer, but I shot a bear. So I'm able to extend my stay, which is good. I'm able to explore, which is good, and build a few things which could be very, very handy, including, hopefully, a travois, which I found sufficient maple sticks to allow me to do that. The location, you see, is pretty good. I was getting concerned that I didn't have enough resources to stay for long, but it seems that problem has been temporarily resolved. And last time, I was running backwards and forwards between the dead bear and home, avoiding the wolf pack, which is always fun. And that's where we'll start today, continuing that process if the weather holds. Alright, let's get on with it. That's enough of me. I was going to say, that's enough of me talking, but if that was genuinely enough of me talking, I wouldn't have a live stream, would I? How can I? Oh, okay. It's called. I'm at some place called the Island Cottage. I thought it was called the Mindful Hut, but okay, Island Cottage. This is going to make a change from doing my interloper runs, of which I have a total of 3 so far, all of which have ended in, well, death, to be precise. So what we are kind of hoping for here is that the weather will let up, which it doesn't seem likely, but who knows. There's the black bear hide. I do have cured deer hide. That's good. I need that. I have maple saplings in the process of curing. So I think I've got 5 hidden around there somewhere. Yes, I do. So I've got enough for a bow and a travois, which would be nice. I need firewood. I've got plenty of water. I have meat outside. Do I have meat on me? I do. I'm slightly amazed that I am not overloaded, frankly. Why? Oh, yeah. Well, I suppose that would happen. Let's get rid of... Oh, yeah. Let's get rid of that. Can't eat it or cook it. Let's go back to sleep for a couple of hours and hope. I think today is the last day that I can actually pick up the bear, and it is, yeah, that's suitable weather. It'll probably be a bit cold, but yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, it's a bit cold. I love the fact that I feel obliged to close the door when I leave.
I'm gonna have to leave something behind.
Yeah, he's not that overloaded. And off we dash, see if we can collect a bit more. I did. I walked straight past the ice tunnel. Probably shouldn't gallop down here. I keep getting slip warnings. The problem about running multiple instances of the Long Dark, I mean, let's face it, I do Voyager, I do Wintermute, and occasionally Interloper, and occasionally Stalker, is that you get a bit lost in your own head trying to figure out where things are sometimes. Wolves are over there, in case anybody's wondering. And the crashed aircraft is ahead of me. Somewhere. There we go. There's the aircraft. So far, I've been able to avoid any confrontations with wolves. And the visibility's good enough. So far, this has been a good spot. I'm collecting resources. Of course, by resources, I mean deer skins, rabbit skins, bear skin, gut, and maple saplings. Not maple saplings, these are birch. I'll definitely grab the birch saplings. Just in case I need to make more arrows. That reminds me, at one point I made 11 arrowheads in Desolation Point. Did I make those up into arrows? If so, I think they are at Coastal Highway. Good news is the wind will be with me on my return. So yeah, this aircraft, very useful for shooting bear from. The bear patrols in this sort of region over here. Oh, there's the wolves. And I'm hoping next time it respawns, I'll have a travoy and I can transport everything across the ice in one go. Still have to unpack it at the bottom of the stairs. But that'll be a heck of a lot quicker than what I'm having to do now. I actually lured the bear in the way that you do, grab its attention, it comes slowly towards you, and then you can climb up the wing there and shoot it from the tip of the wing. Because in principle it can't get to you up there. In practice, I have no doubt that if a bear really wanted to attack you, sorry, on that wing, it could. It would just climb up as well. Bears can climb. Black bears, probably best of all, at least in North America, because they're smaller and lighter. Have you ever seen videos of baby bears, baby black bears, climbing a tree? It is rather cute. Yeah, the problem is I can only... Good morning, Danny. Glad you could join me.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
I decided I wasn't going to abandon the morning live stream while I'm working with my son. I just thought I'd make it much earlier, so at least the content would be available. So... Unfortunately, I know some people won't be able to see it live, who otherwise would do. But I figured doing something was better than doing nothing. Yeah, I did post in Discord, but granted it was only about 15 minutes ago, and I did talk about this yesterday during Winter News. And so given that I'm awake at 3 AM in the morning, that's a fairly normal sort of time for me, actually. I thought, well, okay. I have a couple of hours easily, so I can do this now. And the other reason is slightly selfish, to be honest. My channel has been slowly but steadily growing, and if I abandon this stream, then I'm basically losing views. Oh no, I'm sorry. So if at least I have the content, people are going to watch it. And I do have a sort of goal to try and average 100 views a day. And I won't get that unless I actually do some work, so... you won't be the first person I've put to sleep, Danny. For anybody who wants real insomnia curing live streams, I do have other content which is better suited to that purpose than watching me play The Long Dark. I think the ultimate live stream I did for putting people to sleep is probably me reading that game company's end user license agreement. Which until fairly recently was my most viewed video. There's also me reading a scientific article on the possibility of life based on silicon rather than carbon. I imagine that's put a few people to sleep as well. Oh no! What happened? Tell me, because I might be able to suggest a solution. I have had the odd glitch which could have ended a run, but was able to resolve it. Did you get stuck? Oh, wow. Normally, when I have cabin fever, I will sleep in a car. Failing a car, a fishing cabin works just as well. And I've been known to use a snow shelter. In fact, there's a snow shelter over there, but I suspect it's probably ruined by now. But I have not encountered instant healing and then return. Oh my goodness. Alright. That's not good news. I'm sorry that happened. I assume you're running the Windows version? Why am I carrying a... Oh, yeah. Why am I carrying... 3 revolvers! 3 revolvers seems excessive. Oops. Okay. This is technically the Windows version I'm running here, even though I'm running on a Linux box. The Windows version is actually better than the Linux version. Nope. I don't want to eat that.
Too heavy.
It has to be said, I've actually found The Long Dark as a game to be pretty stable, but it's not perfect. There's one spot coming down from the ravine towards Bleak Inlet. In fact, there's 2 spots. One where I thought I was stuck, and had to alternately crouch, move, stand, move, and rinse and repeat to get out of, and another one where I just got stuck. I'm absolutely straight stuck. I had to reload a save, which took me back to earlier in the morning. I must admit, I'm trying to think. Okay, you've got a choice between the revolver and the rifle. Which is better in the game? I'm going to go with the revolver, probably. Because you get more ammunition for it. It's good enough to fend off wolves. Oh, right. I'll try and remember that. Yeah, revolver's my go-to weapon for dealing with Timberwolf packs. Although a bow would probably do as well. Yeah, but you can kill a moose with the bow. But I agree. Think I think every moose I've killed in the game has actually been with the rifle. But no, apparently the bow will do the job as well as the rifle. I think Anna was saying that you can kill a moose with sort of 10 shots from the revolver, but I think you can kill a bear with a revolver.
Feels like a lot of gear.
Well, so far managed to retrieve most of the bear. Yeah, at some point I'm gonna. I really regret that, even despite turning the cougar on, it doesn't show up in this run. But yeah, I must admit, I'd want the rifle against the cougar. But against the wolves, yeah, the revolver's pretty good because you can get a couple of shots off pretty quickly, and that will often do the job if the first one didn't. Ooh, where's he heading? I don't like the direction that wolf is heading in. Yep. There's a very good chance he's going to... Yeah, he smelt me. Pretty certain he smelt me. Yeah. Yeah, he has. Unless he goes after the deer. Oh, he's going after the deer. Maybe. Yep. There's a little interaction you don't necessarily see too much. Got distracted. But travois would be useful, I think, in most of this environment, seeing as so much of it is flat. Exploring with the travois makes life a lot easier, because you can just pack it full of up to 75 kilograms of stuff. The only downside is they do wear down relatively quickly. Oops, did I just know? Yeah, I'm not about to do that. But no, in this region, the travois, yeah, very, very desirable. You can carry wood, you can carry sticks, you can, take everything with you. Take most of your meat with you. Yeah, yeah. For exploration, the travois, very, very, very useful. Now, the only problem is, of course, I can't get it up and down the steps here, but I would be over with the bear if I had the travois. I could have just loaded everything on and dragged it over here. There was a glitch with the travois where it would despawn and reappear in a lost and found box. I had that happen to me. But Hinterland think they may have fixed some of the instances where that occurs. I don't even know whether I don't know that I've even seen a lost and found box, but apparently there's some houses with lost and found boxes outside them. I'm told, by the way, that what you're talking about there is in fact a valid tactic. People have been known to lure the wolf, or a wolf, into the deer, and then chase the wolf away. I imagine that's the kind of thing you might do in Interloper, if you can ever find matches. Something I've never found in Interloper: matches. And I don't know why I haven't found matches in Interloper. It's irritating. Alright, one more trip. And we're done. Look at all this stuff I've got. Did I pick up the guts? I did. Yay. There is something quite satisfying, although somewhat disgusting, about having the floor of your cabin completely covered with curing hide and gut. It must smell like a slaughterhouse in here. Alright, one more trip. I hope. All I gotta do is worry about that bloomin' wolf. Yes, That would be fantastic. I think that is something they definitely missed out on. Or even just the standard, not the bow drill, as useful as that would be. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the bow drill, but without the bow. They could even say, you know, you got a 10%, 20% chance of starting a fire to start off with. But that would make survival here sometimes so much easier. Because it's the only downside is the one thing you would need to make it is probably a knife within the context of the game. Yes, they could. But again, within the context of the game, it would make sense if they made a bow drill out of cured gut. Ah, no, actually, now that I think about it, electrical wires might not work that well because they would need to, yeah, the string that you need on a bow drill has to be flexible, and that does not work with wire, does it? And if it does work with wire, then the wire is going to be very thin. Oh, there's the wolf. Got his deer. This is a familiar situation. Thread the needle between the two wolves. Two sets of wolves, I should say. Yeah, because don't forget, to make a bow drill, well, you know this, you've got to have a loop around the stick. And that has to rotate, and yeah, it basically, for a bow drill, you need a bowstring, and I'm not sure how long a wire would last. I've tried a few survival games, and I still return to this one every single time. Did I actually search this? I thought I did. Yes, I did.
All this gear is slowing me down.
Oh. 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, pretty much right. But also obviously enough friction so that it can turn the stick. I'm not an expert, I've just seen enough survival things. Oh, this could be a problem. I think the wind is slowly drifting towards those wolves over there. Now, hopefully that one's going to behave itself. I think in Green Hell they allow you to make a bow drill. I think the thing that puts me off about survival games like Green Hell and I think the thing that puts me off about survival games like Green Hell and The Forest, if you just do survival mode and don't have to worry about the rampaging cannibalistic mutants, is some of it is some of it this whole idea basically that you can build a log cabin, this sort of thing, is... I don't like that mechanism for some reason. Obviously there are people that like it, but yeah, no, but I got spoiled by the long dark early. So to be honest, when I'm playing or trying out another survival game, what I'm wanting is the long dark, just set in the Amazon. I hope Hinterland doesn't start including this whole you can build a house type crafting. Yeah. Yeah, that if I haven't done it myself, yeah, the idea, oh, you build, you chop down a few trees and suddenly you've got a log hut. I don't like it. Sorry, but I don't. But yeah, no, the skill set that's in this, a bow drill, or even flint and steel would be appropriate. What else would I like to see? Let me think about that. I don't think you should have to forge arrowheads. You can make arrowheads from things like discard. I wouldn't necessarily want to make an arrowhead from a tin can, but you can use... Making an arrowhead's a lot easier than go to a forge and make one. If you want a sort of one-shot arrowhead that will take down a deer, yeah, you don't need a forge for that. Yeah. The other thing that got me about Green Hell was how fast I died the one time I did try survival mode. Bitten by a snake, bitten by a tarantula. I mean, it's like I'm dead. Yeah, I didn't get that far. I mean, I would never say don't play the game. It's not a game where you play it and you think, oh no, this is terrible. It's a game I play and I say, it's a good game, from what I can see. It's just not suitable for me. I need firewood. Got all the bear, but I do need firewood. I think I've used... You know, it might be quicker to go and get the barrels. Guess I can quickly find some... Yeah, there's the snow shelter. And somebody built a snow shelter out here. Yes, no, the reality is you don't die that quickly. Excuse me. Yeah, it's ruined. Okay, I need some decent wood. Otherwise I'm going to lose that meat. Ah, that's a good start. Oh, there's some ptarmigan nearby. Oh. But I can understand why they would make dying of I think they have a good solid reason for approaching it as they do.
Getting dark
It
out here. Time to look for shelter.
You have more of a sense of urgency. Whereas if you did it realistically, I think they thought it might make it easier, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm not capable of reading them, the developers' minds. But yeah, I mean, you can survive in principle 3 days without water.
I need to find some place to escape this cold.
The cold will kill you pretty quickly, mind you. I don't have a huge problem with that. But yeah, they ought to put a 3-day limit on dying of thirst. Or they could actually have a... You know what? There may be something in the custom options that allows you to do that. It would, and here's something else too. Accurately or reasonably accurately depicting your response to dehydration and starvation might be slightly awkward. So I can certainly understand why they do some shortcuts in how they do the game. I don't think it's completely unreasonable.
It's starting to weigh me down.
If anybody did a completely accurate video game, yeah, you would never play it. Oh, I forgot to do this in the right order. I always do this. I get the...
Not sure why I feel so tired.
Probably because you're tired. Oh, gosh. It is nice coming back in here and having a nice cozy fire. Nope. And there's the wind again. 416 days. Not too bad. What time of day is it? One good thing about streaming at this time is I don't have to worry yet about the diuretic effect of the coffee. That tends to kick in after a bit longer. Let's just not worry about that.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
I don't know what you're complaining about. You're only 12 pounds over the limit. Oh, plusies. Pluses. I wish there was things I could do with the tinder plugs, but I don't need them anymore.
Come on.
Oh, I was going to try and find acorns, wasn't I? Although I don't know, what was it? I thought I might be able to make something. Oh, of course. Did I not pick up? I did not. Sorry. Bit of a cough. Oh, for heaven's sake.
This gear's starting to slow me down.
Oh yes, of course, and I've got ruined potatoes, which it turns out you can eat. And this is the boring... To anybody who watches this and who isn't a regular, and this is the part of the game which does not exactly lend itself to live streaming, because you get to watch me for 10 minutes just cooking food. It's an unavoidable part of the process. Now, I suppose if I was any good at editing any of this, and just, you know, if I had any particular talent at editing, I suppose what I might do, would do is drop the lengthy water preparation parts of it. But as far as I'm aware, I have absolutely no...
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
No skill at editing. That must be quite an art form. How to take a video like one of these, to take a 2-hour video and then chop it down into a 20-minute section. That must take a long time and a good eye for, you know, those moments that sort of sum up, say, a 2-hour live stream. That must take quite a bit of talent. Unfortunately, I either don't have the patience or the skill. Probably both, if I'm honest. And the good news is, it looks like I've managed to get the whole bear. And I spent almost all day cooking it. Just in time for the weather to shut me in. And I should have just enough. Yes, got just enough time to finish cooking the entire bear. Oh, alright. That actually, that makes me quite happy. Because now I've got stuff that will last me. It doesn't look like much of a pile, but there's quite a bit of fresh bear in that little pile of stuff. Yay! Ah, that's, yeah. That's a huge relief. I might have to start making piles of scrap metal over there, although I'm not entirely sure what I would use it for. And in a few days, that bear should respawn, and I can do the same thing again. Plink it from the aircraft. Poor bear. Ooh, let's remanufacture my remaining arrow. Do I have... See if I've got the time to do it. I also want
gonna get a lot colder soon. I just need to close my eyes.
Right, that's my final arrow. All in all, that turned out to be quite a good day for Mackenzie. Although I've no doubt he'll complain.
Too much stuff to carry.
That is, as they say, a result. I need more water. Got a few liters on the ground, but I definitely need more water. There's another trick they kind of missed out on. Using charcoal against food poisoning. Apparently that is a genuine trick. At least it's something I think the military teaches some of the soldiers, is the use of powdered charcoal to help deal with stomach problems. It's a better option than reishi mushrooms, which don't grow up here, by the way, and aren't as good for you as everybody likes to claim. I did a talk about reishi mushrooms a long time ago. I'm not sure I remember the substance of it. But in fact, reishi mushrooms can cause stomach upsets. I think people have actually had... It can cause quite serious stomach upsets, too. I think I recall bleeding from the stomach was involved. Yeah, I need more water. Because I've now run out. Okay, wolf pelt is cured. Do I need a wolf pelt for anything? Nope. The moose hide coat is alright. I don't know why they call it a cloak. It's a coat. The rabbit skin hat's okay. I need to fix those. That's alright. Oh, they need fixing. The wolfskin pants are in danger of needing fixing. That's okay. Getting there. So, what do I need today? I need firewood so I can do stuff. I know what we'll do. Let us put an edge on our axe. I think it was early in this run that I couldn't find a whetstone in Milton. That was irritating. It took me forever to find a whetstone. What's my knife like? Oh, a knife's good. Yes, I need firewood. And so I am going to go and loot the barrels. Yes, I know there's a barrel there, but I'm going to go down by the shoreline and loot those barrels. Oh boy, it's cold. Oh, mind you, it is very early for him. Ooh, this might not have been the best idea. Where's...
Too cold to think.
Don't need those. Don't need that. Yeah, let's dash back. It was funny in Wintermute last night with the Roman Catholic priest essentially talking about the weather. Yeah. And making a joke about how Pleasant Valley was ill-named. He hasn't been to the Forsaken Airfield, has he? Or Bleak Inlet. All forlorn muskeg. I have a suspicion he might somewhat change his mind if he had ever been to any of those locations. So, do I have anything I can... I've pretty much destroyed everything in here that I can use, haven't I? Huh. Oh, it's a poker. Just wondering what that was. If in doubt, break down all the wooden things. Oh, got more cloth. Okay. Water. So, now we're going to do the... Let's cook up a ridiculous amount of water part of the live stream. Which I will start shortly. Because despite the diuretic effect of the coffee not properly kicking in, my 59-year-old bladder still needs its exercise. So I will be back shortly. I'm not calling one of you shortly. You know, I'm not saying I'll be back, comma, shortly. I'll be back in a bit. 3 minutes. Typically. And I'm back. Properly back now that I got the camera back on. Right, water. Nothing else to do for now, not with that. I do have other matches stashed away somewhere. The real challenge will be when you run out of matches.
Come on. Come on.
Stop it. Okay. Let's see what I can quickly fix while the water's doing things. How long does it take to repair? 1 hour 33 minutes. That should be enough. Where's the wolf skin gone? Wolf skin? Hello, Wolfie. Where's the wolf skin? I need another wolf skin pelt, don't I? Actually, this is a little bit... probably fixing it too soon. This is now dropped, I think, into decent level. So, yeah, repair that. Yep. That was worth it. And what else do I need to fix? Deerskin pants. Alright. Yep, I've got more than enough of that. What was the time that I went through 4 deerskins trying to repair something? That was a pain in the neck. Oh, gloves. I need to fix my gloves, and fortunately, while I was... when I first came here, I did not decimate. Decimate is 1 in 10. Do quite a lot of damage to the rabbit population, so I do have rabbit and gut. Yep. Yes, it was dreadful. Sort of like I had a 90% chance of having a successful repair, and then I failed on 3 occasions. And I think that's everything that is in immediate. Ooh, no, that's new. That's good. That's actually still good. The moosehide cloak does take a time. How about this? No, we're good with that. That's done. That's done. Those are done. Those are done. Okay. Yes, yeah, that would be irritating. Alright, what else can I fix? I ought to make a bunch of hooks and line. Because, Yeah, that would be a good idea, I think. Yeah, when you drop down to 90%, you're... Yeah, making hooks and line would be a good idea, I think. Yeah, I think 7.5 liters of water is... Oops. Let's eat some food. Oh. Yes, one thing about live streaming this is that even if I were so inclined to rage quit... Oh, I need more. Hooks. Definitely a good idea, I think. Hooks and line, so that I don't need to worry too much about 42 minutes. Oh, good. Plenty of time. Yeah, because I can use fishing tackle, for example. So I think I ought to start building up my supplies of hooks and line so I don't have to... Well, it seems a bit pointless, to be honest, but... Nah. Right, what else have I got that I need to... That's new. That's new. That's good. Those are new. And I'm all up to speed, I think. I wish there was a way of doing a better face wrap, but the balaclava seems to be the best option. I'm not sure whether the cougar skin wrap completely covers your face. Right, let's stagger over here and drop off water. Yeah. So, drop off 9 liters of water. That'll keep me going for a bit. Yes, that's it. What else do I need to do? Oh, let's check and see. Maple saplings are coming along. What do I need? I think I need, for the travois, I think I need, do they call it a travois or an improvised travois? Come on, where are you? Oh, yes. Yeah, there we go. Ah, okay, oh yeah, alright, that's quite doable. I can make that as soon as the maple saplings are done. That would be very handy to have. Yes. I tell you what I might do. If, when the bear respawns, I might make the bearskin bedroll. I mean, because that's a flex and a half. Ooh, that reminds me. What is my bedroll condition? Yeah. Let's repair that. Yes, I am. Hi, Cal. I've explained why in Discord and yesterday, but essentially I'm working on a project with my son, It's a fair degree of urgency for him. I need to act as mentor, tutor, and project manager. So arranging a time that is compatible with working with him means typically mid-morning, 10 o'clock at the latest. And that's right in the middle of my normal live stream. So rather than abandon my morning live stream, I thought I'd do it early. This because I'm awake early anyway, so I thought I'd do that early. It's not necessarily particularly convenient for me. It affects the growth of the channel, to be honest. But at least I'll have some content for people to watch. Rather than just abandon the morning live stream completely, I thought I'd do it at this sort of time. So, yeah, you know. And I did make sure to point out to him that, yes, he wasn't necessarily happy having to work during his summer vacation, but I was basically having to compromise the growth of the channel, which I like to see, if only because it's a good flex and it makes me feel good. So yeah, this, given the way that my brain/body works, the latest I could do a live stream in the mornings now would probably be between 7 and 9, because I will almost certainly have to do some work to prepare for this 10 o'clock session with my son. So yeah, you see the issue. 9 to 11 was surprisingly convenient for a lot of people in the United States who watch me. So hopefully I'll return to that. The only other alternative is that I work as I stream late at night, and to be honest with you, I'm not a late night person anymore, as you might have ascertained by the fact that I'm typically awake at 3 a.m. in the morning. I suppose if I could persuade myself to be awake at midnight, I could stream then, but no, I am definitely asleep at midnight. Most times. Not always. Right. What am I doing? I am comfortable. I have food. I have water. Everything's happily curing. And let us get some cloth. Where's cloth? I think I've got all the cloth. Oh no, here we go. It would be nice if you could make cured leather out of something like the rabbit skins. I'd like something like that. Yeah, I'm actually, I'm starting working with him today. One of the things I'm doing is essentially teaching him how to be a programmer. Programming is one of those things. It's not about the language. From what I've observed in my so-called career and life, I think sometimes people think programming's about the language. Oh, you must program in this language. And my attitude has always been programming isn't about the language, it's about how you think, how you break down a problem. And I was never really taught that, and it sounds to me like my son hasn't really been taught that. So teaching him how to be a programmer is something else, how to take a problem and break it down, how to envisage how all the parts need to be addressed. So that's a big part of what I'm going to be doing with him, basically, is trying to tutor him on that. So yes, yeah, being able to make leather rather than just cured hide. I mean, the idea that you get cured leather from shoes or something is a bit daft. You should be able to make leather out of hides. So that's one thing I'd like to see. Being able to repair certain items with leather rather than cured hide would also be good, I think. I'd like, for example, another thing I wouldn't mind seeing is how is essentially making underclothes out of rabbit skin. I think that would be useful. You know, right now, for example, you know, I'm dependent on wool long johns. Well, why can't you make long johns out of rabbit skin? I think the leather would be thin enough that maybe that would work. Maybe. I mean, people, you know, have survived on the same kind of furs that we've got available in the game in really appalling weather using natural animal fur. So yeah, I think that would be a nice thing. I can sort of understand why they wouldn't. It's all about game balance. And don't forget, they've been working on this for 11 years, nearly 12. Well, longer than that, because obviously they had, you know, however many years they were working on the game before early release in 2014. So I think there is a lot more they could have done, but on the other hand, then it might risk making the game too easy. So it's a very fine balance. Oh, in case anybody's wondering, no, I'm not just doing the project for my son. I'm teaching him how to do it. There's a huge difference. Yeah, I think the thing about Black Frost is, if I remember though, they are shifting, I think. Aren't they shifting to city survival? I'm not sure. I seem to remember there's more of an urban quality to it. But my biggest fear though is that they're going to go and embrace the whole you can build a log hut type of thing. Oh, really? Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yeah, I did computer science. Oh, grief. I don't know about that. Maybe. What I thought was interesting, and this is just my own experience, I learned to program on my own back in the early 80s, and I learned to program by typing in games out of computer magazines and then debugging them. That's actually how I learned to program, understanding. In that process, you understand the program flow, you understand how things were done. And I don't remember, I didn't do computer science at O or A level. But when I got to university and did computer science, although it was called computer studies, same thing, I don't remember them teaching us how to program. It was kind of assumed that you knew. From what I'm gathering from my son's experience, they don't really seem to be teaching them how to program. They're teaching them elements of programming, but they're not teaching them how to break the problem down. Now, granted, my approach to programming has largely been throw code against the wall and make it work, which isn't the best way of doing it, but still, that whole breaking down of a task into individual sections and then breaking the sections down into algorithms, That's nothing to do with the language. That's to do with how you think and how you think through the problem. In my opinion, I'm sure there are people who would disagree with me, but my son works with C sharp. That's fine. I've never done C sharp. I'm having to pick it up, but it doesn't change how you actually think about a problem. So whatever you can do in C sharp, a lot of it you could do in Java or JavaScript or HTML, or no, maybe not HTML, but you get the general drift. A lot of programs don't depend on the programming language. That's just how you implement the program or the application. And you can, yeah, yeah, programming is a thinking thing rather than anything else. I'm sure there are people who would disagree with me. I don't. One thing that occurred while I was a professional, arguably, was when I got started. Procedural programming was how you did things. Then object-oriented programming came along, and I have never yet seen the advantage of object-oriented programming over procedural. I think they're both perfectly reasonable approaches, but I can't think of anything that object-oriented programming favors. In fact, I think object-oriented programming makes programs harder to understand, but maybe that's just because I'm old. Good morning, little nugget. We're talking about programming. I am. I'm nearly 60. When you bear in mind I graduated in 1988. Oh, that's okay. I mean, these streams can be as much about the chat and me talking and everyone else listening as they can be about the gameplay. I never really mastered a language. That's the funny thing. The language for me was always the method of implementing the solution. So it didn't really matter whether you were doing C, C++, C sharp, Java. Yeah, my son was born when I was 43. His mother was... Hang on. Yeah, 31. But to really age me, I did programming in assembly language. And while it's harder, the process, the thinking that goes into it is pretty much the same. These days, of course, you don't really need to program most of the time in assembly language. I'm sure there are times when it's still viable, but... Right, so that's still curing. Another day or so and I can make the travois. What's my survival bow status? 68%, that's good. Mental note to self. Okay, let's get rid of these tinder plugs, because I can't do anything with them. Let's just drop them outside. Oh, what a beautiful day. Actually, one thing I do need to go after now that I think about it is ptarmigan. Going after ptarmigan. Well, it's a little bit difficult to quantify because a lot of software engineers that's what they do. That's all they do. And I never had that. So I started out essentially at the age of about 16 learning to be a software engineer. My first job out of university, yes, I was a software engineer, but I took on all kinds of other roles. I was a systems engineer. I did pre-sale support. I did post-sale support. And that was all mixed in with the software engineering. So I never had the one fixed role. I had this sort of broad spread of experience, which exposed me to things like customers and how customers think and how customers approach a new program and all this sort of thing. Oh, I did customer training as well. So that definitely changes your approach to programming, because suddenly how the customer, how the end user views your product achieves vastly more importance. Most of the software engineers I dealt with, if not all of them, but and now granted, I'm not talking about a huge number of software engineers, but anyway, most of the software engineers I knew didn't know really about end users, and that affected their experience and how they developed things. And sometimes that was profoundly frustrating. Right, let's go and see if we can get some ptarmigan. Look at that. I've got 19 arrows. Now the ptarmigan are over here. Yeah. Time is it? 6 o'clock. No, I've gone the wrong way. I know there's a ptarmigan nest around here somewhere. There's rabbit. I think this was the ptarmigan nest site. In the right general area. Do they move? Ooh. Yeah. Very, very slowly appears to be the way to do that. I try and resist that kind of thing quite a lot. Well, if nothing else, we can take a look around the island. Let's do that instead. Oh, forgot so. Oh well. Let's see what we've got. I think this is pretty much the edge of the map at this end. Oh, might as well check out the fishing hut. Who knows? Maybe I'll spot a moose. I think I've said this before. One thing I do like about lakes in the game is it does give you a huge area to look at things. It's much harder for things to sneak up on you. Of course, now that I've said that, I'll probably find myself being snuck up upon by something.
That'll come in handy.
I've never used the spray can. At some point I'm going to have to put some effort into that.
I might have to drop some gear.
Shut up, Mackenzie. Oh, weather's changing, and there's a wolf over there. Hello, wolf. I might go and provoke it. Well, people use it for marking areas so they can get home in blizzards, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go shoot a wolf. Do I need that wolf skin? Hang on. That's okay. I thought I had a reason. I don't. Okay, I don't necessarily need to go deliberately hunting a wolf at this point. I'll make you a deal, Mr. Wolf. You leave me alone, and I won't kill you. How about that? One-time offer. No, I'm afraid I don't have any suggestions. I've been out of touch with the job market for so long, I really don't have any idea. Beyond the obvious, survey what the market wants, go with that. Make sure you know the languages they want, because they won't go with... They probably won't go with, I'm an excellent programmer, but I don't know the language you like. Learn whichever development techniques are favored, such as Agile. I don't know what Agile development really is. It's a thing that came in for me relatively recently, and I didn't know anybody that used it. Obviously, make sure you have a good, decent resume / CV, depending on your language. This is the cave, isn't it? Nope, is it? Yeah, this is the cave. Keep your CV short. It's generally it depends. I mean, as far as I know, this advice still applies. Keep your CV to within 2 pages. Although that is cultural, strangely. In the West, in general, 2 pages is a good length for a resume, or considered to be. But on the other hand, somewhere like India, they seem to value resumes that are thick as a small book. How many, okay, Danny, that's a good point. That's an interesting thing. How big or how thick a resume do you like to see? Because my most recent experience was 2 pages, if not shorter. Yes, I kind of gathered. So how many pages do you like to see, Danny? 1 page? No, it's it seems to be certainly a US, maybe a Western thing. You want your resume to be as short as possible. But like I said, yes, doing a good resume these days has become as much an art as it has anything else. But like I said, when I don't know whether it's still the case, but I was once peripherally involved with a hiring cycle, and we were getting CVs and resumes out of India, and they were students. They hadn't got any, work experience, and yet they would have 7-page resumes. Apparently that's the thing. But yeah, no, as far as I'm aware, Danny, no, a 1 page, if you can somehow squeeze 30 odd years of experience into 1 page, yes. Oh, let's pick up the scrap metal. And, yeah, let's chop a barrel down. If necessary, go to a professional resume writer. I mean, one who will actually sit down interview you. Yeah? Yeah, no, color is probably a good thing. One thing you're not supposed to do is put a photograph on it. So therefore, the one thing I used to do was make sure I had a decent photograph of myself. I actually paid to have a professional photography session to put at the top of my resume. But I cannot help but feel the best... Writing a resume is a skill, and it's not one that necessarily comes readily to everybody. It's somewhat daft in some ways. The number of skills you don't get taught to write a resume. Which is kind of weird. Something so important, and you're not really taught it. They give you sort of generic advice, which doesn't really help. So, if you can afford it, a professional resume writer is an idea. There's plenty of templates. There are plenty of templates out there to use, but then filling them in
anything about now.
In a readable fashion, that's something else entirely. So, you know, it's got to be quite contradictory. It's got to be eye-catching in some way. It's got to be as short as possible, and yet it's got to be readable and obviously presentable, and it's got to somehow capture the essence of the individual, and you've got to do it in one page or two. That's very difficult to do, especially after 30 odd years. How many companies do you work for? Let me see. You've got the independent stuff, then you got that one, and that one, and that one, which merged into that one, then that one, and that one, and that. You see the problem? You know. So I don't know. I mean, I would be awfully tempted to simply list the companies you work for, which may or may not be relevant, to be honest. Definitely somehow want to make sure your skills are summarized, I suppose. Like I say, I am no longer particularly... Yes. Yeah, that's the thing is, of course, I think at my age, my education's completely irrelevant. My degree was 1988. What does it matter what degree I had? Doesn't matter anymore. What does it matter what O or A levels I've got? That almost doesn't matter anymore. So is it necessary for me to include my education up to the age of 22 when I'm nearly, you know, when was the last time you get the general drift. But people like to see that, apparently. And don't trust recruitment agencies. I mean, unfortunately, you still need to use them, but yeah, recruitment agencies are a toss-up. They can definitely help, but then you open yourself up to years of constant, ridiculous, inappropriate, I say inappropriate, I mean not relevant, irrelevant emails. I still get emails from employment agencies I'm pretty certain I never sent a resume to. And they're not even relevant to the country I'm living in. Yes, yeah. That is another ludicrous thing. Oh, they're far too experienced for this job. What? Yeah, I've actually had that. I did some volunteer work, helping younger people with IT knowledge, and they essentially fired me because I knew too much. The guy I was working with actually sat me down outside a coffee shop and said, "I'm sorry, they don't wish to." This was volunteer work, and I got fired from a volunteer job because I hadn't been through their own program, and because I knew everything in advance. Which, it's like, that is ludicrous. I was in that curious state between amusement and anger. they would they would do that for a volunteer job? You're kidding me. I definitely lost it. I definitely lost an opportunity at a job once, because, yeah, I knew the subject matter. It was for automation type job, and I understood automation in Windows, what they call journaling. Now, I don't know if it's changed, but yeah, I knew this stuff, and I could tell they were not happy that I already knew it, was educated, and had opinions on the subject. That was not fun. They didn't outright say, "We're sorry, you know too much." But one of the dangers of knowing too much is the person hiring you might realize you know more than they do and therefore consider you a threat to their job. And there's nothing you can say to alleviate that fear. Better to get employed and then reveal, "Oh yes, I know all this," you know. So, yeah, it's a minefield. Daft, really. So I just need those to cure. Oh, this
will come in handy.
Tear that down. Oh, here we go. Cabin fever. Had to happen. Now we go and get our sticks. How much water have I got? Yep. So now I've got to go collect sticks because I'm going to need a... Oh, no, I can go stay in one of the... I could go stay in the hut, couldn't I? Do some fishing. Alright. I'll tell you what. Seeing as this is one advantage to doing things this early, I've got time. Now, normally I don't do 3-hour live streams, and I'm not going to say I'm going to do it today, but I am going to take a quick break. Sorry, guys. The diuretic effect is now kicking in. But then I'll be back, and we'll go and sort out our cabin fever, which is occurred at a good time, so I can either repair the existing snow shelter, find the sticks for a new one, or go spend the night in the fishing cabin. I'm more likely to go down to the fishing cabin because I can do some fishing as well. So I will be back shortly. Right, I'm back. Ish. The other thing I would say in this day and age, be very, very careful about what you put on social media. I have heard that there are companies that will demand access to your social media so they can review it. So you want to be very careful what you put in that. Social media is as much about marketing yourself as it is anything else. Oh, no problem. Nope. No, I went and used the toilet. So I was just saying about social media, Danny. There are companies allegedly that will want access to your social media. So social media then becomes a marketing tool and not a reflection of you. You probably ought to consider being very careful about what you put on social media. Yeah, but yeah, you have to be so cautious now about that kind of thing. If you think of social media as a marketing tool, that's the best way to go. If you're no good at marketing, don't do social media. And if they don't like it, well, that's almost too bad. But yeah, you don't want. I mean, I don't know. They may say, "Oh, you don't have a social media presence. Why not?" That's its own potential risk. So yeah, it's if you have controversial opinions, don't necessarily put them on social media. Even if you think your opinion about something is valid, backed up by good logic, don't put opinions in social media at all. Probably best not to. Because all you got to do is say one thing that somebody objects to, and yeah, you are potentially in serious trouble. And no, it's not fair, necessarily. But you have to bear that in mind as well. Am I going to be able to find the hut in this weather? Yes, I am. So, if you... This gets a little delicate. If you... Yeah, if you are neurodivergent, if you suffer from some forms of mental illness, don't put that on your social media. If you have been diagnosed autistic, you might want to seriously consider whether or not you want to admit to that. Yes, it is. And for ease of it would be an easier time to simply Well, it's easy not to have social media, frankly, and if you do, curate it very, very carefully. Even with family, I would argue, you want to be very careful about what you say. You could very easily say something that the family object to. And
Like
do you necessarily want that to be revealed to a potential employer? All questions that need to be asked of yourself and answered. Oh, I forgot.
I'm gonna need to rest soon.
Whoa, that's catfish.
All this gear is slowing me down.
The simplest thing is simply not to do anything. Yeah, is simply not to reveal anything. Should have brought my pots with me, but I got 3 liters of water, so I'm not too worried about that. Oh. Let's Yep. Yes, it could. Absolutely, it could.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
And it almost doesn't matter what you're talking about. If it's, we'll say, politics in the United States, if you are, regardless of your politics, some people will not employ you, whichever side of that line you're on. So don't talk about politics necessarily in your social media.
Soon, I'm gonna faint.
Yeah, you probably just don't want to talk about relationships. Oh, I'm potentially in trouble here. Yep, this is interesting. Let's see how badly the cold's affecting me when I'm in the sleeping bag. Not too badly, actually. Yeah, it's a good job. I brought wood with me. Although any excursion to...
Come on. Can't feel my hands.
Any excursion to a fishing hut should be accompanied by firewood.
Come on.
Oh, I've got enough fish for a while. Oh, looking at the wrong part there. This could be interesting. A little bit. I probably ought to consider heading out and trying to get back to the hut. How much wood have I got? Actually, that would keep me going for a while. You know what? I think I'll just I don't have any bait. Do I use it all? And needless to say, the other subject you want to avoid necessarily talking about on social media is religion. Depending on where you are, you really want to be careful about that. It's not an issue, I don't think, so much where in Europe or England, but in America these days, that could be a problem. Ooh, this could be a bit of a challenge. If necessary, I'll make my way back, but how much firewood have I got? 6. That might help. Yeah. It's Should have brought. This is why I should have brought my pot with me. I'm probably good until morning, but this is why when you're here, sleeping essentially outside, you only sleep in 2-hour bursts. Well, at least I'm fully rested. Definitely should have brought the pot with me. Oh, I might be okay. Let me just have a look, see what I've got on me. I don't think I've got any way of making water. That's a bit foolish. That's definitely on the foolish side. I should have at least brought a can. Mental note to self, always travel with a can. Even if I forget the pot, I've got the can. So, yeah. Oh. Not tired enough, of course I'm not. Should be good for an hour. Yeah, just about. Well, at least the weather got slightly better. Yes, I can easily believe that.
Come on. Come on.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. Thank goodness for the pot-bellied stove. What time is it? It is that time. So, where's my bedroll? There we go. Let's sleep for a couple of hours. And then struggle back to the main cabin. Yeah, that's... Oh no, that's good.
Looks like I survived another night.
It looks like you did. And now we're going to finish off the last of our water and do a run for home. And hopefully nothing out there is going to take too much of an interest in me. But... yes. I almost don't want to eat my big fish. Look at the burbot. But I do actually have... Oh, one thing I will do. Yeah. Is take the charcoal, head home. Hopefully nothing will pay attention to me. Yeah, he's overloaded by a significant margin, so we shall very slowly make our way home. Fortunately, the wind is not necessarily going to attract that wolf. Yes, that is something else I should have thought. The format of what you're using is important. Even if your word processor is compatible with Microsoft Word, doesn't mean that if it's opened in Microsoft Word, it will necessarily appear as you might think. I've used free packages, OpenOffice, for example. OpenOffice is a wonderful resource. The other one that I got on Linux that I haven't had much cause to use very much is LibreOffice. But even if you are using a Word document format, if you possibly can, find Microsoft Office and make sure it looks the same. Because it, for all the alleged compatibilities, it might not be as compatible as you might think. And I'm going to guess and say Microsoft Office is probably still the default standard by, that everybody's using. Most people are using. Still, I should have some more firewood blown down by the wind. Trying to think of any other nuggets of wisdom that I may or may not have. There's a bit of a scam going on at the moment that I have not pursued, but have encountered. And that is where people purporting to be oh, what's the expression? Employment agents, or whatever you want to call them, will call you with a recorded voice call, say, please add me to WhatsApp so we can discuss employment opportunities. Yeah, don't do that. I got no idea who they are, and if they're serious, nobody in their right mind would use that as an approach. The other thing to bear in mind is if you do go to an employment agency, they won't necessarily understand your resume. They won't understand the market they're employing for. They will go by keywords rather than comprehension. And that's its own set of problems. If you can find a specialist, that's a good thing. But yeah, don't count on it. But unfortunately, in this day and age, I hate to risk offending people in the business. I remember times when employment agencies would do some degree of due diligence. I was actually once, I think it was the first time I use. Oh yes, yes, yep. That will happen. The I have many. Oh, great! I'm talking many years ago, back in the 90s. I did visit an employment agency. Now, this is what they did. They got me in, sat me down, and essentially interviewed me about my career. And I think they wrote the resume, which makes a sort of sense, actually. They were thorough. It was a couple of hour meetings, I remember. So they went over this to understand and try and work what the best fit is. I don't know if any employment agencies would do that these days. Unless I'm wrong, there probably are employment agencies that would do that. But yeah. Oh, come on. Travois should work. Oh, workbench. Yeah. Well, I haven't used LibreOffice very much. What I've seen of it is very good. It'll open up Word documents. It'll open up Excel spreadsheets. Does fine. But I think LibreOffice and OpenOffice are related. But yeah, no, they won't necessarily be exactly the same. Here we go. A Travois. Oh my goodness. Were they different versions? But that is a valid point. I think you can get Microsoft Office on mobile, can't you? For Android and iOS tablets, I think you can. Used to be able to. But again, if you're preparing something on a tablet like that, make sure it looks right on your desktop, because whoever's going to be reading it will probably open it on the desktop. Hey, guess what though? In this day and age, they might open it on their tablet. So you would need to make sure that everything works on both. Nope, you don't get Microsoft Office on mobile? I thought you did. I'm pretty certain you used to. Oh, and if you're a Mac user, what's the Mac word processing application? Pages? Again, make sure Microsoft Word opens up your Pages document correctly. Right. Oh, right. That is crazy. I don't have an explanation for that. I personally don't like using tablets for things like that, for the simple reason I don't have a keyboard. I mean, I've got my iPad mini here. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it's great. But I'm not going to be using it for word processing or work like that without a keyboard. Alright, but I've got a laptop, so guess what I'm going to use in preference over this. So if I was going to do any work on serious work on a tablet, I would get at the very least a keyboard. I did have a long time ago a Google tablet, what was it, C series, which you could get with this wonderful magnetic keyboard type thing. Fantastic. The whole thing was one integrated unit. You know, you didn't need a backrest or anything like that. It worked beautifully. I would want something like that if I was going to do serious office type work on a tablet. And I wouldn't want to do it on a small screen like this either. I'd want as big a screen as I could afford. The reason by the way, I've got this is because I can stick it in an inside pocket. As much as I would, you know, an 11 or 12 inch tablet or a 10 inch would be nice. 7 or 8 inch tablets for me are fantastic because they're the perfect size for a book reader and I can stick it in my pocket. So right, what am I doing? Anybody remember? I don't remember what I'm... Firewood. I need to get some firewood. Oh, hello. Welcome back, little nugget. Has anybody seen... Yes. What did I say? Make sure you always have a can on you at the very least. Right. So... I made the travois. Yay. I've got food. Oh, right. I've got my arrows, all nicely manufactured. Everything's fixed and working. I've got entirely too many bits and pieces. Let's drop some stuff off. Don't need that. Don't need that. Why do I... Don't think I need 2 sets of kit there. Anything else I can dump? Do I have another whetstone anywhere? I do. Okay, that's interesting to know. Yeah, you can see what I mean by matches. I've got matches hanging around. Let's see. Firewood. I was going after firewood, wasn't I? Yes, I was. Because... Oh. How is your finger doing, little nugget? Well, that's weird. Oh, yes, I am slightly smelly. Okay. I couldn't see the smell indicator. You know, there is one slight advantage me streaming this early in the day. I do not seem to be getting as exhausted as if I'd done this length of a live stream slightly later, so... I am very tempted to go on for another half an hour, actually. And I don't guarantee that I'm going to be doing it this long all the time, but today at least I think I'm good for another half hour, which probably means I'll die a unique and unpleasant death in the game. What do I get if I dismantle it? Nothing. Well, I appear to have a surfeit of sticks. Oh, do you know one thing I haven't done? I didn't map this end of the island, did I? I did not indeed. Yeah. Ah, that looks promising. Yep, definitely, definitely. One thing I'm always slightly wary about these days is coming over a rise like this and then face to face with something toothy. I had that happen once. That was something of a surprise. There we go. That's a complete map of the island. And in a day or two, yes, that's a good idea. Never had an issue with it myself, but especially if you get paid overtime. If you don't get paid overtime and you're on, oh grief, there's a whole different subject there. Yes. Being paid hourly, in principle, of course, allows you to claim overtime. When you're on salary, you probably won't get overtime. That's something to bear in mind. Oh, there's the final approach over there. And if you're on salary, what can happen is what happened to me, where I was required to be on call 24/7, 365 days a year, technically even if I went on vacation. Now, fortunately, most of the time that wasn't a problem, but having to deal with field service problems in Malaysia at midnight did not make my second ex-wife very happy, especially when I had to go into work at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now, in principle, if you're on salary, at least where I worked, you could literally come into work, check your mail, and then go home. In principle, if you had nothing else to do, or if you could, or this kind of thing, in principle you could do that. And I did it on a couple of occasions, which wasn't a problem. But I guarantee if you do that too often, yeah, you'll get yourself in real trouble. But yeah, being on salary is potentially an opportunity to be taken advantage of by your employer. I mean, it'll obviously depend on the contract, but yeah. When I worked in Austria, and I was doing the same kind of job, sort of, as I'd done in the United States. And in Austria, if you worked if you worked more than 40 hours a week, you got paid for it. And as a result, people did work lot more than 40 hours a week. In fact, at one point, a memo came round asking us to please stop doing that, which we didn't. But in the United States, doing that kind of job, I would probably have been salaried, which meant, yeah, they can ask you to be on 24/7 call out. And I almost guarantee if you make a fuss about that, they will find some way to punish you. So pay very careful attention to your job contract. And if I sound needlessly cynical, well, yep. I don't think there is such a thing as needlessly cynical. Oh, it was cleaning its paws. That's kind of a nice touch. Well, it has to be said, while this island, and I'm probably going to regret saying this now, while this island doesn't exactly have much game on it, it doesn't seem to have any nasties either, so this is turning into a really, really nice spot. The temptation to just stay here for a while and relax is quite significant. And look at this beautiful view you've got. This is quite nice. I like this location. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. You have to be careful about stuff like that. I was going to say, make sure you archive and keep important emails that might be significant later. Oh, and don't forget, any work that you do when you're under employment hours technically belongs to your employer. So depending on what field you work in, anything like intellectual property or patents or stuff like that technically belongs to your employer. So yeah, take non-disclosure agreements and non-competitive clauses seriously too. I mean, that's always a good idea, but you've got to be so careful about things like that. It never happened to me, but yeah, you do have to be very careful. And it depends on the industry. I worked in the semiconductor industry. The semiconductor equipment industry. That's actually a surprisingly small industry. A lot of people move between various companies. It's almost a necessity of the nature of the industry. And so things like your non-disclosures and your non-competitive clauses become potentially very important. Having said that, I do know of cases where one gentleman went to work for somewhere else, and in the process immediately violated his non-competitive and his NDA, I think. And the company I was working for did nothing about it. But you can't be sure that that's always what's going to happen. Taking knowledge from one job to another, yeah, you do sometimes want to be very, very careful about that. And I swear there are NDAs or non-competitive clauses that just, and I can't remember the precise circumstances, but while they are there to obviously protect your employer, sometimes I think, and I can't remember the details, and I apologize, but I swear sometimes it seems like the whole purpose of the NDA or the non-competitive is to prevent you from getting a job after you leave. Or is that needlessly cynical as well? Sorry, I did not anticipate talking about this kind of stuff today. Why is he stinky? What am I carrying that makes him smelly? That's weird. Look at that. I got a level of stinky that doesn't make any sense. Now I'm curious. What am I doing that means... I mean, I don't need to be carrying that. That doesn't make any difference. That's a funny thing. Carrying a fresh hide doesn't add to your stink level. Oh, yes. No, that's a valid point. When you live with people or you're in a relationship, yes. That can be a very real problem. And I did actually have some personal experience with that. I had a girlfriend, and her father was a theoretical physicist. And he apparently was concerned that I was in a relationship with his daughter with the intent of trying to get some of his secrets, which sounds paranoid, but not necessarily, because he knew a lot of the people in my industry. Now, I think I was able to convince him that I wasn't interested in anything like that at all. And in fact, we actually got on extremely well. Probably because I had the education to understand what he was talking about. Which you would think would make me even more of a threat. But yeah, no, you can have situations like that. And even if it's not common, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. What am I carrying that is affecting my stink level? Is it just the fact that I'm carrying 2 pieces of bear meat? Oh, it's because I'm carrying that, I think. Wow, I don't think... I don't know now whether I've had stuff vanish from my inventory. Probably because I wasn't paying enough attention. And, yep, it was the bait I was carrying that caused the problems. Let's see if we can pick up a bit more firewood. Good grief. Yeah. I mean, in a way, you can understand it, but in my time, the levels of paranoia did seem to go up. I worked in my early days in document management, and this was 1988, late 88. And the very first trade show I ever did was in Paris, Imagerie Électronique in Paris, in, oh, would that be September sometime? And it was perfectly normal. In fact, I was asked to do this. We went round to the competitors' stand to view their product, and they happily showed it to us. And then they came round to our stand, and I was asked to show them. So I actually had to give a demo in French, and my French is not great. But, yeah, and that was normal at the time. And in the next few years, that situation changed. So that kind of thing was, just not done. You never did that, humph. And as far as I'm aware, the increased levels of paranoia, some of it justifiable, just kept going up, in my experience, from the late 80s, 90s, early 90s onwards. And what's even funnier is sometimes that paranoia is inconsistently applied. Oh grief! Yeah, now here goes. I was once, the company I was working for, document management systems. We did, as I've said, and we were looking for a new source of what were called optical disk drives. This was in the days pretty much before CDs were as prevalent as they are now. So you had optical disk drives, and we were looking at various units from various people, and all was going well. And
find a place to rest.
And me and the other guy who was looking for this new product, we were essentially they attempted to bribe us. They offered us free tickets to the British Grand Prix with access to the pit lanes, this sort of thing. They would have taken us on this. And the only reason that I remember that we didn't take them up on it was because I was busy that weekend. I don't think either one of us took us up on it, but there was no actual policy stopping us from taking them up on the offer. These days, of course, that would be strictly verboten. You just can't do that kind of thing. I mean, it makes sense that you can't, but I mean, it does indicate, how things have changed. Unfortunately, that was the only time in my life anybody ever tried that. Yeah, now they give you courses in how to be bribed. I mean, sorry, how not to be bribed. Yeah, I do somewhat regret not having gone to the British Grand Prix. That would have been fun. I don't think it would have made any difference as to whether or not we would have actually used their product, because if I recall, we weren't massively keen on the product in the first place. uh, so I don't think there was any way they were going to get a contract from us. It wasn't long after that, I think, that I went to... No, hang on. No, I can't remember the timeline now. Sorry. Right. So, what I'm going to do now is I am going to... sleep through the night, and then I think I'm going to bring this live stream to a close. I can't believe I've been going for 3 hours. Nearly 3 hours. Yeah, that doesn't work. I ran across that where you were, hired for a job that was really outside of your field. That does not work necessarily. Oh, great. Of course, I've got the insomnia risk. What do we got? Glimmer? Yeah, we had glimmer fog, didn't we? Oh, do I have hang on. Do I have insomnia risk? Yes. I love this. Or find an underground... I don't know how you avoid the glimmer fog. Find an underground location. I know of only one underground location in this area, and that's back at the Forsaken Airfield itself. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Michael. But I am... Yep. I'm going to start bringing this to a close. So this is the bit where I do the end bump. So, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Honestly, I don't know if I'll do the same thing tomorrow, but I will certainly try. If you are subscribed, you will of course get notifications. And that is more than a hint. That is a strong suggestion that if you are not subscribed, you would be advised to do so. If you have spent more than, say, 15 minutes or half an hour listening to my dulcet tones. And I know I've actually got to update my community post on what's going on, and I will try and do that later. I'm not sure anyone pays any attention to the community post, to be honest with you. I suspect most people just say, oh, I got a notification, he's online, we will go watch. But for that to happen again, you need to be subscribed. Help us grow the channel. So, hope you all have a good day. I know for some of you, today is almost over and tomorrow is about to begin. In which case, I hope tomorrow works out for you. I hope today works out for me. I hope it works out for everyone else as well. See you all next time, and in the interim, be good to each other. Be kind to small animals and babies. Good day.